So building trust in our customer base is one of Globe's highest priorities.
Hello and welcome to our interview series happening today at ATx Singapore. With me today, I have Jin Zhi Yeong, who is the Cybersecurity and Cloud Advisor for Globe Telecom. Jay-Z, happy to have you with us today.
Yep. Thank you, Tara, for the welcome. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, so we have a couple of questions, of course, on these two very interesting areas, cybersecurity. A lot of things are happening in this space. And of course, cloud, cloud native architectures and cloud native networks. These are the things that we are moving to. Yep. So let's begin with cybersecurity. Yeah. So cybersecurity is increasingly becoming a board level priority. Yep. Beyond operations, we now see that, it's at the right, center, left, everywhere, when it comes to telecom operations specifically. So why are telcos now treating cybersecurity as a core strategic function rather than just a technical area?
Yep, that's a great question. So in the context of Globe, I would say that cybersecurity has always been a big focus. So this is evidenced mainly by the creation of the CISO role that is actually part of the senior leadership, right? So they've always had this strong emphasis on cybersecurity, right? So I had this opportunity to talk with my CISO, Anton, and he shared the same sentiments with me, right? And the main reason why Globe has such a big emphasis on cybersecurity is that it helps to build trust, right?
Okay, all right.
So building trust in our customer base is one of Globe's highest priorities, right? And then it's not just the reputational aspect. I mean, cybersecurity attacks, like you have service disruptions, ransomware attacks, you have loss of customer data. These are all, these can all incur financial losses for Globe, right? So it makes sense that we put such a heavy emphasis on cybersecurity.
Yeah, and I guess, because, apart from retail business, there's a lot more focus on enterprise business as well across telecom operators. So I guess one of the important things is how secure these transactions that they are conducting with the operator, right? And like what you've rightly mentioned, there's a lot of data, and not only personal data, business data through enterprises. So you need to have security as a founding capability for people to gain that trust.
Yes, exactly.
So it's really a very important area. So how do you see the role of cloud evolving within telcos, particularly as operators move towards more distributed, software-defined and cloud-native environments?
Yep. So I see cloud as another opportunity or another place where telcos can start hosting workloads. Well, these workloads have to be either modernized from legacy workloads, or they need to be designed specifically to take advantage of cloud's advantages, right?
Yes.
So some of the things here is that I think traditional telco workloads may not have so easily translate to cloud because of like hardware requirements or the way that the application is designed. So it's up to the telco to decide whether or not certain workloads make sense to be put on the cloud, or should they remain on like on-prem hardware.
There's this concern about sovereignty, right? Like, do you want to move all your workloads to the cloud, and who's taking care of that cloud and things like that? So a lot of decisions, and what you pointed out rightly, that it's just not a matter of just bringing everything to the cloud. You need to know what's optimal, how much of that transitioning, because we are all not born cloud native, right? You have to make that transition slowly.
Yep.
So it's a huge area.
Yep. So data sovereignty, as you brought up, is actually a big part of our conversations with like vendors and cloud providers. Like, where does our data sit? Is it within the region of the Philippines, or does it sit elsewhere, which is a big concern? Yeah. And also, I think something that is interesting as well is that the concept of cloud-like control planes are becoming more prevalent. So now there are things like, for example, HP GreenLake, which are bringing like cloud-like benefits to on-prem. So these are some things.
That's so interesting, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And I guess, at Globe, you guys are already looking at how you can optimize this entire, the computing stack by, like what you said, moving back some of the things on-prem because you now have this technology.
Correct.
Yeah.
So with HP GreenLake, we get things like you get IAC, right? You get the benefits of like cloud. So you get this like consistent configurations with this kind of technology available.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so what organizational capabilities do telcos need today to stay prepared for the next wave of, this cybersecurity challenges? We have new threats coming up, and at the same time, there's so much push about, okay, let's move things to cloud native and all that. So, do you think that telcos need to invest a lot more, maybe in people, maybe in their culture? What's your experience?
Yep. So I think the obvious, pretty much everyone's talking about is AI, right? So
Yes.
we have like Project Glasswing, Mythos, and all these like the cybersecurity threat landscape is changing rapidly with the development of such models, right? So I would say you need to empower your cybersecurity folks to be able to keep up with such like machine speed threats, right?
Yeah.
So AI definitely and probably an area for investment for telcos. But of course, the traditional like defense in depth, right? You have your perimeter security, your firewalls, right? You have your supply chain security, EDR. These are all things that should still be done right. Like they still have value if done correctly. Right? So do not I think there might be too much emphasis on like chasing the latest tools and then not prioritizing what has already been like proven.
Yes. I guess what you brought up is like it's a classical view, it's a traditional view, but it's so relevant today because it's not like what you said. It's not just about investing more and putting in more dollars, but what do you do with solutions that are already there? You need to optimize them first, right?
Exactly.
And together with that, to the earlier thing that I said, what about in your experience, what about the talent readiness? What about the people and organizational readiness? When you have these changes and you're talking about cloud and new forms of cloud and all that, do you think that telcos are ready internally, at organization level to embrace this?
I think there needs to be a large emphasis on education as well, right? So the talent is there, right? They just need to be equipped with the tools to like deal with these like new technologies like AI. How do you like maximize your AI potential, right? How do you like create like agentic workflows, make use of that, have AI governance in place to ensure that these people are equipped but within the right like guardrails to do what they need to do.
Okay. And that becomes essential, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that today, and you can see in a lot of conversations that we have at today's show that people are talking about AI, but you need to catch up with the governance that is required to make sure AI, people have certain level of confidence in using AI, and that itself is a type of readiness that the organization must invest in.
Exactly.
So awesome. So it must be a very interesting portfolio right now for you.
It is. It's exciting times. Yes.
Exciting times, yes. Okay, so I think, JZ, thank you so much for joining us. Excellent conversation. And let's keep in touch and share more insights as we go along.
Thank you for having me, Tara.
Okay, awesome.